What's up, YouTube? I'm here with the QB tier list going into next season. I do this every single year when the season's about to start, and obviously we know the season is getting close to starting. The first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game, is in 2 days on Thursday at the time of me recording this video. But yeah, last year has nothing to do with these QB rankings. This is a QB rankings list on how I believe these players will perform in this upcoming season. So like I said, last season has nothing to do with these rankings. So just make sure you remember that when watching this video. But let's get straight into it. Tua Tagovailoa just got his extension, becoming, I believe, the second or third highest paid player in the NFL now. Tua Tagovailoa is... I did a video already, a YouTube short, reacting to the whole extension, so I'm not going to go over it again. But basically, I believe the Miami Dolphins are going to miss out on the playoffs. I predict them at 8 or 9 wins and missing the playoffs. I think the AFC is just too stacked, and I don't think they're a top 7 team in the AFC. That's just how I feel about the Dolphins. So I'm going to put Tua at the B tier, though. I believe Tua is still a pretty solid quarterback. Put Tua at B. Trevor Lawrence, another player who got an extension this offseason. I think Trevor Lawrence is in for his biggest year of his career. I'm very high on Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 to 7 level quarterback. I know some of you are not going to like where I put Trevor Lawrence here, but I'm going to put Trevor Lawrence at A. I'm very high on Trevor Lawrence. Trey Lance, he's a player we haven't really got to see at all in his career. He hasn't really got a fair chance in the NFL. He got injured that 1 year in, I believe, week 1 or 2, and then obviously Brock Purdy happened. So he just hasn't been able to crack the starting QB role for any team, and now he's backing up Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is in a contract year, so if Dak leaves after this season, maybe we see Trey Lance, but until then, I'm not going to put Trey Lance at F because we haven't seen him play like completely awful, so I'll put him at D. Derek Carr, I believe he's age 34 or 35 now. Getting very old. Last season, he was honestly a below average quarterback. Since he left the Raiders, hasn't really looked, too great. I think Derek Carr probably gets benched at some point in this season. Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener are the backups, so I think one of them, probably Spencer Rattler, because I'm not sure. There's a bit of a situation going on with Jake Haener where maybe skin cancer, I believe I read. I could be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. So just hopefully we hear great news about Jake Haener soon to where he can play this upcoming season. But I believe I read somewhere that he will not be playing. So maybe Spencer Rattler takes over this job at some point this season. But I think Derek Carr is cooked. So I'm going to put Derek Carr at the D tier. I know it's crazy seeing these two guys close to each other. But like I said, Derek Carr, if you watched him last season, he was awful. Sam Darnold, probably going to be the day one starter for the Minnesota Vikings this season. Obviously, they drafted J.J. McCarthy, but I believe Sam Darnold is going to be sort of that bridge QB while J.J. McCarthy is still developing, getting ready. J.J. McCarthy is very young. I believe he's only 21 years old, so maybe they don't even throw him in the fire at some point this season, and they wait until year 2. Maybe Sam Darnold plays very good to where they don't have to play J.J. McCarthy at all this season. But I'm going to put Sam Darnold at the C tier. I think he's actually... I'm not going to say he's going to have a Geno Smith type, bounce back to his career, but I believe he will have some sort of a bounce back to his career this season with the Minnesota Vikings. Kyler Murray, I think he's in for the best year of his career. Adding Marvin Harrison Jr., that's going to be his main target. Trey McBride, Michael Wilson, all players that I think... I just made a video yesterday, YouTube short, on the Arizona Cardinals offense, but I think Kyler Murray is in for the biggest year of his career. Kyler Murray goes at the top of B tier for me. Zach Wilson, we're going to put Zach Wilson at F. I don't even know if he's going to be the starter for the Denver Broncos. They drafted Bo Nix. I'm not even sure what's going on in Denver, but I think they're going to be terrible. If Zach Wilson plays, I don't think he's going to play good anyways, so I'm going to put Zach Wilson at the F tier. Josh Allen, he's going to be at the top of the A tier for me. Here, let me just do this now. Where is Pat Mahomes? Okay, so Pat Mahomes is going to be at the top of... He's going to be the only player in S tier because I think he's a tier above everybody else. So let's just do that now. Patrick Mahomes, obviously the best player in the league and obviously the best quarterback in the league. He's in a tier of his own. But for Josh Allen, I think Josh Allen will probably stay at the top of the A tier for me. I think he's probably the second best quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen could have an MVP type year, though. I actually think the Buffalo Bills wide receiver core is not as bad as people are making it out to be. Curtis Samuel, Shakir, and the guy they drafted, Keon Coleman, also Dalton Kincaid. I think their offense is going to be fine. Losing Stephon Diggs is not going to be as big of a blow as I think some people are making it out to be. CJ Stroud, going to be second in the A tier. I think CJ Stroud also could have an MVP year. I believe they made their team so much better, not only defensively, but offensively. Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon. I think this is a team that's going to be a top 5 team in the league. If CJ Stroud puts up the numbers, which I believe he will, I think he is in that MVP conversation because they're for sure going to get the wins to do so. So as long as he puts up the numbers, I definitely think he's in the MVP conversation. Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott in a contract year. I don't think he gets paid this offseason. So I think he's going to be in a contract year. I don't think he's going to be as good as last year, but I still think he'll be around the same tier. Honestly, last year Dak was elite. I got to admit it. But I'm going to put Dak above Tua. I believe he goes in the B tier. Baker Mayfield, I'm going to put him at the top of C tier. I don't think he has as good of a year as he did last year. I know they brought everybody back, but I just don't have a feeling he's going to have as good of a year as he did last year. Because last year he was just amazing. He got a playoff win. I don't think he gets a playoff win this year. I don't even think they make the playoffs. I think the Falcons got that division locked up. So yeah, I'm going to put Baker Mayfield in the C tier. Caleb Williams, this might be a little biased. I am a USC fan, and I'm extremely, extremely high on Caleb Williams. I think he's an amazing talent, and he's in the perfect situation to succeed in Chicago. Chicago, obviously, DeAndre Swift running the ball, Roschon Johnson. Who's the other running back? Khalil Herbert. And then obviously the big 3 wide receiver core, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, and DJ Moore. Absolutely stacked offense. Cole Kmet at the tight end position. I just don't see how Caleb Williams doesn't succeed. I'm going to put Caleb Williams right here above Tua in the B tier. Justin Herbert, I'm going to put Justin Herbert in the A tier. Adding, Jim Harbaugh coaching this team. Justin Herbert is probably my favorite player in the NFL, honestly. Been watching him since he was at Oregon, and I like him in the NFL now. But I think he has. I know that with Greg Roman, they're going to be running the ball a lot more, but I still think Justin Herbert has an amazing year. And I'm not sure how I feel about the Chargers team, though. When I do my team breakdown videos and ranking teams, I'll be able to answer more thoroughly on how I believe the Chargers will play this season. But Aaron Rodgers, I don't think the last we've seen of Aaron Rodgers fully healthy, he wasn't great in Green Bay, his last year in Green Bay, and obviously being 40 years old now, coming off an Achilles injury. I don't know, man. I don't think we see another elite season of Aaron Rodgers. I think the Jets are going to be a team carried by their defense and their run game, and Aaron Rodgers is not going to be the main driving force for why they're winning. So I'm going to put Aaron Rodgers actually behind Dak. I know some of you guys are going to think that's crazy, but just hear me out. And when I say I don't think he's going to be the main driving force of this team winning their football games. Like I said, I think it's going to be their running game with Breece Hall and their defense, obviously led by Sauce Gardner. And Quinnen Williams. Mac Jones, like I said, the last we've seen of Mac Jones, he was completely awful. And now he's going to be backing up Trevor Lawrence. Probably won't even see a single game this season. I'm going to put Mac Jones in the F tier. Jalen Hurts is becoming underrated in my opinion. I know some people are leaving him out of the top 10, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. This is a guy that has been to a Super Bowl. And this team is only going to be better adding Saquon Barkley. And defensively, adding Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. I think the Eagles are going to be one of the best teams in the league again this season. They're not getting out in the first round like they did last year. I can just tell you that right now. Jalen Hurts, going to be at the top of B tier for me. Kirk Cousins obviously moving to the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Atlanta Falcons win that division, that pretty easy division. And Kirk Cousins, I don't think he has as good of a year as he did in Minnesota. Because if you guys don't remember, before he got that injury in Minnesota last season, he was elite. He was playing like a top 5 to 7 level quarterback last season. Honestly, was kind of in the MVP conversation at one point before he had that injury. But I don't think he has that good of a year. But I still do think he has a pretty solid year. I'm going to put him right here in the B tier. Chat, not chat, sorry, I'm a streamer as well. But for you guys in the comments, am I underrating Tua? I don't think Tua is that great. But I know some of you guys might have something to say about where I'm ranking Tua. But that's just how I feel, honestly. Lamar Jackson, I'm probably going to put right here. The MVP of last season, you got to respect Lamar Jackson and what he's done. Actually, I'm putting Stroud over Lamar Jackson this upcoming season. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just that high on Stroud. But Lamar Jackson, I think he has another elite year. I don't think he wins the MVP again. But Lamar Jackson, you got to respect him. Anthony Richardson, I'm higher than a lot of people are on Anthony Richardson. I think when he was healthy, I believe he got injured in week 4 or 5. I think week 4. So, I mean, I think if he's healthy this year, he's amazing. I'm going to put him in the B tier. I can't do that. I wanted to do that. I wanted to put him over A-Rod, but I can't. Anthony Richardson in the B tier for me. Kenny Pickett going to be backing up Jalen Hurts. I think he's one of the better backups in the NFL, though. I'll put him right here. Michael Penix Jr. I think there's a slight chance he could become the starter. Obviously, if Kirk Cousins gets injured, but if Kirk Cousins somehow plays awful, which I don't believe he will, I just think there's a slight chance Michael Penix plays, and in that slight chance he plays, I think he will be a fine quarterback. I'm going to put him in the C tier. I actually like Michael Penix Jr. a lot. Drake May, similar situation. I think Jacoby Brissett is the day one starter, but I do think Drake May will take over the job at some point, probably like the midway point of the year. I don't want him to, though, me personally, because I like Drake May, and I don't think the Patriots are in a position to throw a rookie quarterback out there, have one of the worst wide receiving cores in the entire NFL. Just don't. I just really hope they don't throw him out there until they get that situated. I would like to see Drake May probably sit out this whole year because, like I said, that Patriots roster is awful. Joe Flacco, the last we've seen of him was with the Cleveland Browns, where he was the comeback player of the year, but he's very freaking old. I'm going to put him at the top. I'm going to put him at the top of D tier. I'm sorry, Joe Flacco, but I don't think you do that again, what you did last season. Drew Lock, fine player, backing up Geno Smith. Honestly, he might be the third string now because Seattle has Sam Howell. But yeah, Drew Lock, fine player. Wait, did Drew Lock sign somewhere else? No, Drew Lock signed with the Giants. I'm wrong. I'm definitely wrong. So he will be backing up Daniel Jones, which he could be the starter, but that doesn't really change my ranking. Bryce Young, I think this is a make or break year for Bryce Young. I think the Panthers did like kind of all they could to help surround Bryce Young, getting him Deontay Johnson and Xavier Legette, and also signing Hunt, offensive lineman in free agency, to a massive deal. I'm going to put Bryce Young at the top of C tier. I think he's around this level quarterback this season. And I don't know if that's good enough to, keep him around. I do think he has a pretty solid year, though. I could see him in the B tier, but I'm going to put him at the top of C tier, which is not a bad quarterback. That's basically me saying he's going to be like an average, maybe slightly above average quarterback this season. Deshaun Watson, I'm going to throw him behind Baker. Deshaun Watson better show something this season. Obviously, the Browns signed him into that massive deal, and he has not lived up to it, not even half of it. Just insane. Will Levis is a player who I'm very, very high on this season. I think the Tennessee Titans did amazing in surrounding him this offseason with more talent, bringing in Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, Tony Pollard. Will Levis is a player who better show something from what they did for him. And also drafting J.C. Latham to pair up with Peter Skoronski in the offensive lineman department. For the Tennessee Titans, I'm going to put Will Levis at the bottom of B tier. That's how high I am in Will Levis. I know some of you guys are saying, like, oh, he doesn't belong in the same conversation as these type of guys, but I think he can, honestly. I think Will Levis is going to have a big year. Daniel Jones is horrible, man. Daniel Jones is horrible. I'm sorry. Like, Daniel Jones is horrible. He's going to get replaced next season. I think this is his last year being a starter in the NFL for Daniel Jones. But yeah, I don't. Brock Purdy, I'm going to put him right here in the B tier. Brock Purdy's a fine player in the NFL. I think he's going to have another good year with the 49ers. I don't know what else to say about Brock Purdy. I mean, he has all the talent in the world around him, and that's not his fault. I'm not saying it's his fault, but, like, I just don't see how he doesn't have another good year. That's basically what I'm saying. Jameis Winston, I think he's backing up Deshaun Watson in Cleveland now, so I'm going to put Jameis Winston in the D tier. I think he's one of the more... Actually, no. I'll put him, like, right here. Jameis Winston, probably one of the better backups in the NFL, backing up Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. Jaden Daniels, I think he could be probably the second best rookie quarterback just this year for year one. I think he's in one of the better rookie situations out of all the rookie quarterbacks. I'm going to put Jaden Daniels in C tier. I'm going to put him right here. I think this is around the ballpark where I predict Jaden Daniels to perform this season. But honestly, I could see him in the B tier. I think, I like what Washington did this offseason, bringing in vets, guys like Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, and Austin Eckler. I think it's just amazing what the Commanders have did, honestly, this offseason. Matthew Stafford, I think Matthew Stafford is an amazing player. I know he's getting up there in age, but Matthew Stafford, you always got to respect Matthew Stafford. Come on. Russell Wilson, I think he probably loses a starting job at some point to Justin Fields. I'm going to put Russ at the top of D tier. Gardner Minshew going to be the starter, I believe, or is it going to be Aiden O'Connell for the Las Vegas Raiders? I think it probably is going to be Minshew to start it off. If he plays bad, then you throw in AOC. But for now, Gardner Minshew, he's not better than Carr. Yeah, I'll throw him right there. Jared Goff, another player who I believe is underrated. With the Lions, he got that massive extension as well. I'm going to throw, I think he's like somewhere around that Tua Purdy range. I'll throw him somewhere around there. Well, Sam Howell, going to be the backup. I actually like Sam Howell. If he could just limit the mistakes, puts the ball in harm's way a lot of the times, but going to be the backup for Geno Smith. I think he's one of the better backups in the NFL, though. I'll throw him somewhere around here. Justin Fields, I'm actually going to put in the C tier. I think he'll be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season at some point. Yeah, I'll put him right there. Aiden O'Connell, I think he's, a fine quarterback. I don't think I put him right here. Aiden O'Connell, a fine player. Do I think he's better than Minshew, actually? I do, actually. I do think he becomes the starter this season for the Raiders. Jordan Love might be A. Jordan Love is A, actually. He's the highest paid player in the NFL now. I still don't think we've seen the best of Jordan Love. We saw Jordan Love be absolutely amazing towards the back half of last season. I think he does that this whole season. I think the Packers are going to be a top seed in the NFC conference. I like the Packers going into this season led by Jordan Love. And obviously bringing in Josh Jacobs. Man, that team is going to be special. Geno Smith is one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. Yeah, I said it. Geno Smith is underrated. I'm going to put him in the C tier. Joe Burrow, if he can stay healthy, obviously one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But he's kind of fallen off of my rankings, honestly. Like, these guys, especially these guys, have probably passed him. Am I overrating CJ Stroud? Maybe a bit, but this is going into how I believe they will perform this season. I'm actually going to swap Jordan Love with Trevor Lawrence right there. I don't know, man. I think CJ Stroud has a better year than Joe Burrow, if I'm being honest. I think Josh Allen does as well. I think Josh Allen has an MVP type year. I also think CJ Stroud has an MVP type year. I don't know if I have Joe Burrow having an MVP type year, is what I'm basically trying to say. So I'm going to put Joe Burrow actually between Lamar and Herbert here. I know a lot of you may not like that too much, but that's just how I am predicting this season to go. Bo Nix, I know a lot of you draft nerds do not like Bo Nix. I actually do like Bo Nix. I think he's a C tier. I'll put him at the end of C tier. J.J. McCarthy, same place. I mean, the rookie quarterbacks are all kind of going to be in this sort of range until they prove themselves. Desmond Ridder is an F. Desmond Ridder was the worst starting quarterback last season. And now he's on my Arizona Cardinals being the backup for Kyler Murray. But Desmond Ridder is awful. Like I said, the worst starting quarterback. I'll show him a little bit of respect and put him... Actually, I'll take Mac. I'll take Mac over you, Desmond Ridder. But yeah, that's the end of my QB tier list going into this upcoming season. I am so excited for this upcoming season. Can't wait to watch the Hall of Fame game. Football is finally around the corner. Appreciate you guys for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.